Hey guys, Justin here. Quick note, the hot lap is actually going to be on the first lap at Talladega, which is pretty interesting. But also I'd like to give a huge shout out to John, aka Bipolar Prophet, for being the sponsor of this video. He's really helped out a lot with this channel and really generous guy, and running the scheme that he provided for me, he's made over 1,000 schemes or something like that for iRacing, and this one's one of his best, so I'm going to rep it during the race today. Alright, let's get right to the lap. Bomb the entire race. And then, like, maybe with 10 to go, you can go to the first scene.
So the high lane that you, or the high line that you should be using is the first scene.
So I give myself 3 laps that I can possibly use the top if I really want to. Any more than that, the tires get shredded.
Yeah. Okay.
So that last race, because I started in back, I went to the high side 3 times and I ended on 75, 80. But also, I was underdriving the first couple laps because of how slow everyone is.
Yeah, that's.
Should I be lifting before I run into the arse of them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
If you're, like, super duper flush with them, then maybe you can full send them, but usually not.
Green.
Honestly,
Okay,
I mean, it's up to you, but like the way I like to run Dega is just run behind someone. Like I try not to move around too much because that's how you wreck yourself.
Yeah.
Derek Krause in here.
So that means that Justin will be getting wrecked.
I don't know, it depends. If he qualifies and stays up front.
Oh, Derek Krause finds a way.
Justice has been very strong on the do not lift brake.
Really?
Yeah. You just
Wait.
told me drag the brake, don't lift, especially when you're behind somebody,
With
because the RPMs drop, at least in the next generation.
That's fair.
Huh. Yeah, that actually makes sense to the next gen, I guess.
But I think he said the same in the trucks.
One more lap.
His philosophy is don't lift, drag the brake. I find it's much easier, especially if you've raised the master cylinders on the next.
Alright, let's take a look at that. So for the outlap, we're just gonna run normally full throttle and just right sides on these white lines here. You don't have to go all the way up to the wall. There's a little bit of bumpiness up there that kind of negates any effects that you get by running right next to it. And then wall arrow is also a thing. So we're gonna just ride around here. As you can see, just keep the wheel as little inputs as possible. And then we make it all the way out. And then here we go for the coming up to the start finish line. We want to be straddling this lane right here. This one seems to keep the most speed out of anything. So we keep our lefts right on the white dashed lines here. And then going into turn 1, we're actually going to stay about at the same lane. We're going to cross the finish line. We don't need to get it down to the yellow quite yet. I like keeping my rights just about on the right on the white line there. And then you see how the corner kind of enters all at once right here. The goal is to make a smooth line down to there and just kind of get your lefts right next to the yellows on entry. So you can see I'm all the way at the yellow on entry, and now I'm able to keep the wheel as smooth as possible, but staying really close to the yellow line, and that's all pretty obvious there. And then the one thing I want to show you guys is as we're getting close to the exit here, you don't want to choke the car down too much. You may think that you want to shortcut the exit as much as possible, but doing this right here actually scrubs a little speed that you'll feel all the way down the back stretch. So what you want to do is let the car naturally slide up about 1.5 lanes. Yeah, just like that. So just go as long as the car wants to go up. Usually it's about 1 lane. So you see I'm just slowly unloading the wheel. No forcing it on a certain angle. And you just kind of slowly let the car up. This is very important. This is worth multiple hundredths on the back stretch if you're able to keep your momentum like this. All right, perfect. So now we kept our momentum. So now we start easing our way down the back stretch. And you see how I'm about halfway down, I'm creating my angle again. I want to end up at the yellow line on entry. I don't want to miss out on any distance. So just smoothly bring it down. Very, very smoothly. And then on entrance, we get our lefts once again right on the yellow, and we just stick it there for the entire corner until exit. So you see I get a little bit high up, maybe lost a half of a hundredth there or something like that. But just keeping that yellow right next to our tires. And then on exit, once again, let the car go where it wants to go, slide up maybe a lane. Perfect. And now we're keeping the momentum. And now I have a lot of questions on whether you want to go down to the apron or the track. They're almost equal. Almost equal. I think that staying on the track is slightly better, but I don't know. You could get a really good apron run. So I'm just going to stay on the track, keep the lefts right in the yellow as per usual. And then once again, as we're leaving the tri-oval, this is the time where I actually cut down, or I keep it on the yellow on exit of the tri-oval, because there's barely any distance left to go where that momentum would gain us anything. So we actually do take the shortcut there, and we end up with a 56.062, which was good enough for pole and a pretty good lap time, I believe. So that's a good start for you guys. If you emulate that, you should be getting within a couple hundredths of that pretty easily. The make or break is definitely in the corner exits. Those are the biggest parts of the lap, is maintaining your momentum on corner exit. Everything else is just keeping smooth and keeping low. But that's okay, so let's go to the race. Alright, so we did a race here, and it was kind of interesting. We somehow finished 13th, and I say somehow because you'll see that it was a very rare occurrence in C Fixed here. So I got the pole. I wanted to get you guys a qualifying lap just to show that this gets you pole here. There wasn't that many people that even tried, 3 people, but still we got about 600ths over the next guy. So we did a good job controlling the race, just kind of staying on the bottom, and our pusher, the outside pusher was a little better than the inside pusher in this case, so he was able to clear me. So if you're in the first or second car in the bottom lane, I recommend you stay there because they're the safest places to be on the track. But if you're going to be the second car, you got to be a good pusher. So this was my first laps at Dega, so I was not the best pusher. I was a little sketchy, you see. But we recovered. I'm kind of getting back into the flow. Doing some okay pushes, doing just enough to keep us out there. You can see here. Because if you're just going to ride around in third and not go for pushes or anything like that, then outside line is going to pass you. So it is required if you're the second car on the inside to push. So even if I'm doing really sketchy pushes, I'm doing my best not to wreck them. Just trying not to make contact, and they're not able to clear going to the corner, so we're able to take it back. If I didn't go for any pushes at all there, he would have cleared and taken first on the bottom there. So we do that, and we do that for a few more laps until I start getting hot, and then that's when this happens. So I say I'm getting hot, I'm about to blow up because I'm staying really close to him the whole lap. And so he tries to bail on the top. He gets a bump, it was a little close for a block. I react, and then somehow we end up 5 wide here. Before there, it's like 5 wide there. Then third doesn't know that there's 2 on the bottom, so he squeezes down to me, and then it takes all the top guys out. I was able to save the car, so here's a super pro tip. If you feel contact on your right side at Talladega or Daytona, you see how quickly I yanked it to the left? You see I was going to the wall. Your first reaction when you get any contact is to yank the wheel to the left. That's the only way you're going to save it. So you see, I saved it. We'll watch that again because that was kind of impressive. So off the gas and yank it to the left if you feel any contact on your right side. Very good. So that was how I saved the car there. Now I had very little damage, as you can see right here, but since this was lap 7 and not a green white checker, I decided to come in and pit. So I got 30 seconds of it changed. It was or fixed, 30 seconds optional. And because of that big wreck, I was still only in 12th here. So for the next laps, I was feeling the effects of the damage just a tiny bit, but I was easily competitive. But the problem was I really wanted to make the top work, as you can see here, starting lap like 15. Yeah. So I really wanted to make the top work. And if you have a perfect car and you're a really good pusher and you squeeze just a little bit on the third lane, you can get the leader to the front. But my car was just slightly too damaged to give the pushes that it needed to give the momentum. It just kind of stalled out even when I was just staying right on the bumper. So that was unfortunate. So we weren't able to get to the front. I could have bailed and gone to the second lane, but I was really trying to make the third lane work. And then we got all the way without a caution. We're 4 wide here. So we make 4 wide work, which is kind of crazy. We make 4 wide work for most of a corner. So that is possible. And then with 2 laps to go, I'm like, okay, I can't get the top to work. I'm just going to lay back and they're going to wreck. And I'm going to try to win off this green white checker. Well, they don't wreck. And even crazier than that, on the last lap, they don't wreck. So, yeah, we get 13th. That is a crazy anomaly. A group of 15 cars not wrecking in the last 2 laps. But, you know, you win some, you lose some. That's the gamble you take. So I lost this gamble, but by losing the gamble, I still got 13th. And if I won that gamble, I would have probably gotten assured top 5 by being able to react for that crash. So, all in all, we gamble, we don't win. It's okay, we're on Mr. Yee-J. And we see here our super cool paint scheme. If we go to TV1, you see we got the G Energy paint scheme from John, or Bipolar Prophet, in the comments. You might recognize him, so really thanks to him for sponsoring this video, and shout outs to him and the super cool paint scheme that he provided for G Energy. But other than that, you know, what can we do about it? We're gonna come home, not get a top 10, but we survive at least. So we'll do more throughout the week. That's just kind of the risk that you take. Definitely, if you find yourself on the bottom in the first couple rows, it's definitely worth the risk to stay there. I think if you're stuck like 4 or 5 rows back on the top, I think that's when the risk starts to outweigh the reward. So I would definitely consider dropping and hoping for a wreck if you're, say, 5th or 6th, 4th, 5th, 6th on the outside. That's about where I would start dropping back. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.